Hello and welcome to another episode of Isn't That Something? I'm Ralph Crewe and today I want to tell you about a life-changing technology. Whether gathering around the table to eat a nice dinner, hopping in the car for a drive, watching a movie, or just feeling like sit, this tech is a total game changer. I'm talking, of course, about chairs. By the way, we now have a Patreon. Check the link in the description for the opportunity to support this channel. Along with liking and sharing these videos, support on Patreon is basically the best thing you can do to help keep this channel going. And now, back to chairs. According to Wikipedia, chairs are a kind of seat designed for one person, which features a seat and a back. Despite having a back, chairs are not vertebrates. Note that chairs lack dorsal nerve cords, pharyngeal slits, and other chordate synapomorphies. Other kinds of seats include stools, benches, couches, also called sofas or Chesterfields in parts of Canada, chaises, thrones, which are really fancy chairs, saddles, tree stumps, certain rocks, yoga balls, pews, and at a pinch, the floor. Actually, most seating enthusiasts or sit heads would argue against calling the floor a true seat, and if they include it in the set of objects that are seats at all, they call the floor the null seat. Sitting is not limited to humans. Plenty of other animals become still in a position with weight preferentially distributed posteriorly. Examples include dogs, cats, apes, bears, raccoons, kangaroos, frogs, squirrels, brooding birds, and in some cases, horses, elephants, and other large ungulates, although this is typically only for a short while during a transition from lying down to standing up. In this case, it is called a massive transitional sit situation or mass transit. Unlike the rest of the animals, we humans just can't leave well enough alone. And so, at least as early as the first dynasty in Egypt, if not earlier, we started building chairs. Chairs were significant enough to ancient people that they even appear in works of art and sculpture. While the invention, development, and widespread adoption of chairs and other technological seating innovations were a huge advance for sitters everywhere, we must remember that with great power comes great responsibility. Chairs can be, as many of us are already painfully aware, dangerous. Check out this classic video from Practical Engineering demonstrating the perils of pushing past the limits of seat technology.
Watch what happens in the diagram as you continue to lean back further and further. As soon as your center of gravity passes over the point of rotation, the moment that it creates reverses. But unlike before, there's no way to use your feet to counteract this rotation because they can't pull on the ground. All of a sudden, our moments aren't balanced. You can kick your legs forward to try and move your center of gravity. You can wave your arms to try and counter-rotate using conservation of angular momentum. You can even try whatever Beyoncé used at the Grammys this year, but more than likely, if you've made it this far, there's no going back. Well, actually, there's only going back. You're gonna fall.
Thanks to Grady from Practical Engineering for letting me use that clip in this video. If you somehow aren't already aware of his channel, check it out here or use the link in the description. The word chair is from the ancient Greek
Cathedra.
This is also the root of the word cathedral. Our modern use of cathedral to refer to a large church is actually specific to the cathedra, the chair or seat of the bishop of a diocese, conference, or episcopate. It is notable that ordinary folks don't sit in the cathedra in a cathedral, but in another form of massive sit, arranging themselves on long wooden benches with backs called pews. Pew, pew, pew. Cathedra, along with many examples of ancient chairs, were reserved for very fancy people. In fact, if you were fancy enough, you would have servants carry you around in a specialized chair or litter. Some litters were essentially little windowed rooms with a chair inside. This style is known as a sedan because if you want to ride in one, as they say in my hometown of Pittsburgh, yin's got a sedan. Curiously, four-doored automobiles in America are called sedans. In England, they're called saloons.
Greetings.
Because they feature fun swinging doors and illicit poker games. It makes sense, given some of the fancy history of chairs, that the word chair can also signify a powerful person or leader of an organization or group of people. To avoid confusion, these folks are often called chair people. Frank Sinatra was known as the chairman of the board, and famous communist revolutionary leader of China, Mao Zedong, is often referred to simply as Chairman Mao. In monarchical societies led by a king or queen, the seat of power is often just referred to as the throne, which is a really fancy chair. Interestingly, when Queen Elizabeth visited the set of Game of Thrones, she did not sit on the Iron Throne because, as queen, she is forbidden from sitting on foreign thrones. Another powerful seating-related term is Holy See, denoting the jurisdiction of the Pope. This originates from the Latin sedes, meaning seat. See what I mean? Chairs are made from a wide range of materials, from wood to stone to modern plastics and composites, and even porcelain. Porcelain chairs are usually intended for a highly specialized kind of sitting. Common in the Western world, flushing toilets intended for sitting upon are ubiquitous in almost all occupied structures. In fact, occupied itself is a word spoken frequently from the toilet, typically as a pleading discouragement aimed at overeager door touchers. Other common terms for the toilet and/or the watery room within which it is found include the loo, the john, the bathroom, the water closet, the washroom, the restroom, the shitter, the crapper, the head, the bog, the throne, the latrine, the lav, the western front, the tinkle pot, the poo palace, and the fires of Mount Doom, just to name a few. Not only is the ability to dispose of human waste whilst seated upon or standing in front of a porcelain chair a luxurious experience, but it, along with the associated sewage infrastructure that comes with it, has radically improved sanitation in urban areas. A litany of terrible illnesses are spread through the improper disposal of human waste, including cholera, typhoid, parasites like tapeworms, and more. Even with a good toilet, such diseases, which are said to be transmitted via the fecal-oral route, which sounds like a really gross state highway, can be risky. It should be noted that in many places, squatting is much more common. Not only are many non-Western people good at squatting while at rest, they use it during times of excrement. It is not uncommon in certain parts of the world for indoor plumbing facilities to consist of a porcelain vessel recessed into a hole in the floor. These are called squatting toilets, and there is evidence that squatting while you poop may actually be the more natural or ancestral state for human defecation. As far as I'm concerned, folks should just use the method they're most comfortable with. You poo you. While chairs are typically a pleasant addition to life, they've also been modified into terrible instruments of death and destruction. Take, for instance, the electric chair. Used in capital punishment, this is a total horror show of a chair. 0 of 10 would not recommend. Even regular chairs can be detrimental to your health if used in excess. Like drinking alcohol or commenting on Reddit, sitting too much is not good for you. Prolonged periods of uninterrupted daily sitting of 8 hours or more have been linked to similar increases in cardiovascular disease and cancer as seen in obesity and smoking. Many consumers are now aware of the risk of chairs, and so we have seen the rise of standing desks, or negative chairs, as I like to call them. In many ways, humans built chairs in their own image. What other inanimate objects have arms and legs? One-piece jumpsuits. And who wears those? Astronauts. Also prison inmates, but come on, spacesuits have arms and legs, just like chairs. Interestingly, astronauts typically don't have much access to chairs, since in a microgravity environment, sitting isn't really a thing. Even the ISS exercise bike has no seat. A notable exception to the no chairs in space rule is the seating on the lunar roving vehicle, which was deployed by the last 3 Apollo programs to land on the moon. Chairs have also played a major role in culture. The evil chair spin villain reveal is a mainstay of movie tropes. Musical chairs is a devastating game that has ended many friendships and caused many a busted tailbone. Professional wrestling not only features arenas full of chairs that you only need the edge of, but also folding chairs have become an improbable weapon of choice for gaggles of grapplers. Chairs are also at the heart of much of the modern accessibility movement. Wheelchairs have given mobility and independence to a large and important section of the community and have also spawned some super dope sports. Chairs play a surprisingly important role in so many aspects of our lives. You might even be sitting in a chair right now. If so, take a minute and say, "Thanks, chair, you really support me." Also, post a link to an image of you sitting in a chair in the comments for fun. Chairs have become central to life, from ancient Egypt to the modern world and even on the moon. Chairs can also be used to spread goodwill, such as when you give up your chair for somebody else on the bus. Remember, chairing is caring. Hopefully you've gained a new appreciation for chairs over the last 9 minutes and 20 seconds. Next time you see your favorite chair, take a moment and think to yourself, isn't that something? Isn't That Something was written, recorded, and edited by me, Ralph Crewe. Original music provided by Kyle Simpson. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and all that other good stuff. If you really like this channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Click the link in the comments for more. Thanks for watching, and remember, explore the world responsibly.
Isn't that something? Isn't Johnson.